Do do do. A little bit more. Hey, there we are, El Conecto. How about that? Good afternoon, everybody. I'm goofing around today. Hey there, Franklin. How's it going, Carl? And hello to Ben. We're going to play Game 2 of the doubleheader today. Washington Senators at Chicago White Sox. And we find the White Sox on a 3-game winning streak. On the other side of the coin, we find Washington on a 5-game skid. Trying to snap that skid will be the computer-only card of Dick Bosman. Let's take a look at Bosman's real-life numbers since you can't see them on the card. He's made 1 start so far. He made 7 starts in 1966. He was 2-6 with a 7.62. And man, was he roughed up. A whip of 185. 185. 60 hits, 39 innings. In his only start so far, he was sensational. He won the game. Pitched 5 1/3 innings, only gave up 5 hits and a run. Didn't walk a batter. Some of you regulars will remember that game. Remember, we were in amazement of the performance of Dick Bosman, and we tried to get him out of there before he really got hurt. So he went 5 1/3, picked up the win. It's a 1.69 ERA for Bosman so far. I don't expect that to last. For Peters, 8 starts, 4 relief appearances. He's 3-4 with a save and a 3.65 ERA. He's underperformed his card. Look at that, 1.98 in real life. Bosman, of course, a right-hander. Peters, a lefty. Wait a minute, is he a lefty? Yes, he is. Okay, I had to double check that. Because I have assumed before and been wrong, so it doesn't hurt to check it. Peters, of course, is a lefty. I remember Gary Peters. They should know that. Here's the lineup for Washington. Fred Valentine, largely the same lineup as Game 1 except for the catcher. Fred Valentine in center leads off. No, different lineup. Excuse me. It's the White Sox that have largely the same lineup. So let's start that over. I'm off to a splendid start here today. Fred Valentine in center leads it off. Bob Savarin, who played second base in the opener, is at third base. Frank Howard in left field moves up to the 3 spot. Ken McMullen will be in right field. Yeah. Ken Hamlin is in the lineup at second base. Bob Chance gets the start at first base against a lefty. Okay. Somebody explain that one to me. I'm giving you a second to look at Chance's card against lefties. It's pretty much an automatic strikeout. Doug Camilli will be the catcher. He'll hit 7th. Eddie Brinkman is at short, and Bosman, the pitcher, 9th. You can see the real-life score there. The second game of a doubleheader, the 4th game of a 4-game series, in which the White Sox have won 3 and are going for the sweep. The Senators trying to avoid the sweep. And if Chicago can complete the sweep, this will be our second unlikely 4-game sweep in a row, as the Angels just recently swept the Tigers 4 games. Anything can happen. Here on a Thursday, I tell you, I'm getting amped up for the vacation. Barely started packing. And Frank has joined us. Hello there, Frank. Good to see you. And Frank rolled the pre-play. Good to see Frank back in action again. I haven't said anything. Let's see now. What was I going to say here? Oh, yeah, the packing. I did the one thing that I hate the most. Organizing all the pills into the daily pill box. You know what I mean? The thing with Sunday through Monday on it, and you put all your daily medication and vitamins in there. That's time consuming, and I don't like doing it. So I got that out of the way. So the rest is pretty much easy. And here comes Mookie. Are you going to be in my lap today, or are you going to play with things? What's it going to be? What's it going to be, Mook? All right, it's game time. Peter's ready to go to work. Fred Valentine steps in, leading the club in batting at .311. Valentine, 7 home runs, 19 RBIs, batting righty against Peters. And we are underway on a 6-5 righty. Valentine takes it the other way. That's into the gap in right center. Robinson gets to it. Valentine rounds and heads for second, and he is in there with a leadoff double. Valentine, probably Washington's best player, doesn't waste any time getting us started, and here's Bob Savarin, the third baseman. Savarin hitting .237, 3 homers, 10 RBIs. He'll bat righty against Peters. Yeah, I hate that thing, Ben. I don't do it unless I'm traveling. I just take them out of the jar. I know it's probably easier to set it up for the week, but... Oh, and Frank, yes, I knew about this. I was going to let Frank tell you or not. I was going to leave that up to him. Needless to say, we and Frank are lucky to have him with us. Peter's ready to work. The pitch to Savarin's a 5-8 righty. It's a ground ball to second base X. That's going to be Weiss, a good second baseman, 2E12. 2 is left on a 6. He's got it, throws him out, and on the play, Valentine moves to third. That's going to be a 4-3X. Valentine at third with 1 out, and early in the game, I'm going to roll it for inner back. And they'll be back for Frank Howard. Well, you know what? If I were the third baseman, Buford, I'd want to be back for Howard, too. Here's Howard. .293, 3 homers, 19 RBIs. Peters comes right in there with a 4-5 righty. Grounder to third base. Buford has it. Runner will freeze as Buford throws him out. It'll be up to McMullen playing right field today. Ken hitting .223, 7 homers, 17 RBIs. And here comes the pitch from Peters. It's a 5-9 right-handed. Lifts it into right field. Robinson is there, and he makes the catch to retire the side. For Washington, no runs a hit, a man left at third. And after half an inning, Washington nothing, Chicago coming to bat. Oh, wow, and Mike has been there. That has got to be scary as hell, not to mention the painful recovery process, which I'm sure that's not easy either. However, I can say it was nice to get a pre-play from Frank the other day and seeing that he was back at the gaming table. So that told me that, you know, he's powering through, if nothing else. Peter's getting warmed up. Here's the lineup for Chicago. Pretty much the same as the first game, except for the catcher. Tommy Agee leads off in center. Don Buford at third base. Tom McCraw in left field. Floyd Robinson in right in the cleanup spot. Bill Skowron at first. J.C. Martin will be behind the dish. Lee Elia, the shortstop. Al Weiss at second. And Peters, the pitcher, hitting ninth. So here's Tommy Agee facing Gary Peters, facing Dick Bosman. Let me pull Bosman's card up on the screen in case we get to something I can't read, which is very likely. All right, here we go. Agee hitting .254 now, 3 homers, 20 RBIs, slowly bringing his average up. Still way behind in the home run pace. Bosman gets the sign from I was going to say Casanova. But it's not, it's Camille. And here's the pitch, righty to righty on a 2-7, grounder to third, fielded by Savarin, who throws him out, and there's one down. Exactly, Ben. Yeah, talk about putting priorities in the right place. You're not kidding. Here's Buford at .244, 3 homers, 24 RBIs, 18-6 now in the stolen base department. He leads the league in steals. Batting lefty against Bosman. Bosman's pitch is a 2-8, ground ball to second base. Hamlin will take it, flips to Chance. 2 quick outs for Bosman. That'll bring up Tom McCraw. McCraw, just 165 on the season, no home runs. Bosman's pitch to the left-hander. The 6'4 lefty is a grounder to short X. That's Steady Eddie Brinkman, 2E29. Into the hole is Eddie. On a 7, he makes a fine play and throws him out, and that's a 1-2-3 inning for Dick Bosman. So Bosman's pixie dust hasn't worn off yet. He throws a 1-2-3 first, and we're scoreless after 1. Hey, Dan's here. How you doing, Dan? Yeah, exactly, Mike. I'll tell you, that's something I think about sometimes, not often, but it has crossed my mind when it comes to living alone. Something like that happens and there's nobody else around. I mean, unless you can operate your phone pretty quickly, not going to be good. Here's Ken Hamlin to lead off the second. Hamlin is 12 for 60. That's a 200 average. He does have 1 home run. Peters into the windup. 5'9" right-handed. He lifts it to right field. Playable for Robinson. And he glides over to make the catch for the first out. That's a good point, Ben. Yeah. And here's Chance starting against the lefty. So, you know, if you didn't see the start of the game, it's good for a laugh. Chance hoping to roll on Peters' card. As the pitch comes in, 1-3, you tapper to second. Weiss to Skowron. And Chance is retired, not surprisingly. Here's Camille. I don't know how long we're going to go with Chance. the usual, basically. 7 innings or 3 at-bats. Or close. Camille at 213, 2 home runs, 7 RBIs. The backup catcher, 13 for 61 on the season. And here comes the pitch. That's going to be a 110 left-hander. Hard smash to third. Buford, strong throw across. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Gary Peters. Nothing so far. And hello to Gerald. And I just saw Dan's remark. Yes, more like no chance. I'm not sure what Hodges was thinking there, starting him against a lefty. What, you couldn't, they don't have a lot of righties, do they? You couldn't put Locke in the outfield and put McMullen at first? All right, anyway, enough of that. Here's Floyd Robinson, hitting .307, 4 homers, and a team-leading 27 RBIs. Bosman gets the side on a 6-8 lefty, swung on and missed, strike 3. I don't know how well you can see that. I'm struggling, believe me. Here's Skowron. Moose hitting .248, 4 homers, 9 RBIs. Bosman comes in there with a 3-8 righty. He grounds one towards short. That's Brinkman's territory. He scoops it up, throws him out, 2 down. And hello to Bill. Welcome aboard. J.C. Martin, the catcher, 13 for 48 on the year. It's a .271 average for the backup catcher. 5 of those hits for extra bases, including a homer. Pitch from Bosman is a 1-8 righty. He taps one to first. Chance has it. He'll take it himself, and it's an easy inning for Dick Bosman. Is Dick Bosman the new Tommy Sisk? Or who's the other guy, the Kansas City, Fred Talbot? However, both of those cards were much better than Bosman's even. I have to say, at this point, I'd be remiss if I did not mention that I've been pretty fortunate at my age. Here's Brinkman to start things off. Brinkman, .250, 2 homers, 18 RBIs. Peters into the windup. That's a 6-9 right-handed. Swung on and missed, strike 3. First K of the game for Peters. And here's Bosman, a right-hander, 3R. Peters with a 3-9. Struck him out. Back-to-back Ks for Peters to open the third. And that'll turn the lineup over, and here's Fred Valentine. Valentine doubled to lead off. The game was stranded. Peters gets the side, the windup, and the pitch on a 1-9 lefty. Called, strike 3, and Peters strikes out the side. Oh my, a fine inning by Gary Peters. Strikes out the side. And we go to the bottom of the third, still scoreless. I would say that's a fair trade-off, Bill. Bottom third of the order here. Here's Lee Elia to start it off. Elia 12 for 38. That's a 316 average. Pitch from Bosman on a 6'9" righty, and he bangs that high and hard into left field. Howard backing up. That's going to be over his head. And Elia coasts into second with a leadoff double. Let's take another look at it. 6'9" righty, triple to 2. He rolled the 12, and Elia standing at second with a leadoff double. Valentine led off the game with a double for Washington. He got as far as third base and no further. And here's Al Weiss, the second baseman. Weiss hitting lefty. Weiss, of course, in there for his glove, hitting just 195. Bosman, the windup and the pitch on a 4-7. It's a single 1-star, it looks like. Let me double check the card. 4-7 single 1-star. Elia stops at third. Usually the 1-star singles are on a split, but on a computer-only card, a lot of the rules are out the window. That'll bring up Peters. He's a left-handed batter. He's a 4 with N power. Let's check Weiss's running rating. He's a star 15, so let's check the battery. Bosman with a good hold, -2. Camellia 0, so Weiss not held at 13. Let's see where the infield is. Infield back, runner not held. Peters a B bunter. Actually, come to think of it, they're going to pull the infield in. The hell with the dice roll. You know he's going to try to lay it down with nobody out. So Peters squares to bunt. Now, you know what? The heck with that. He's going to swing away. He has N power. He's a left-handed hitter. The pitch on a 2-8 struck him out. Well, fire the manager, I guess. First and third, one away, and here's Tommy Agee. Infield at double play depth. Would Weiss go to 13? Let's roll for it. 1-3 he goes. He will not go, and here's the pitch to Agee. 3-7 righty, grounder to shortstop. That's 2 of the infield back. Brinkman to Hamlin to Chance, double play. And Washington gets out of it. So, boy, did they get lucky on that one. Or did they just play it right? Runner not held, infield back, they get the double play. Had they done either of those things, well, there it is. Ground ball to short, A+. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left. We're scoreless after 3. And Bosman, what can you say? And what can you say about Fletch? In this case, what can you say about Dick Bosman? Bob Savarin will lead off the 4th, batting right-handed. Peters into the windup. 6-6 righty. That's going to be a liner towards short, single to 10, and through into left field for a base hit. Leadoff single for Savarin. No threat to steal. Peters a 0 hold. Martin a 0 arm. And here's Frank Howard. Howard 0 for 1. Peters, the throw to first, Savarin back to the bag. Now gets the sign from the stretch. The pitch to Big Frank is a 1-11 left-handed. He bangs one into left field for a base hit. Open single. Savarin 15-13. McCraw +2, 15. They're going to send him 1-15 to third, and they're going to throw. Howard a slow runner behind him. And he's in there. Howard with an 8 will hold at first on the 13. So Savarin to third on the base hit. And Washington has them at the corners with nobody out in the fourth. One of my newsletters I get, Bill, said Adley's on the bench now. That was a long fall in a short amount of time for Adley. I'm pulling for him, you bet. Oregon State boy, absolutely. And here comes Mookie. What's it going to be, Mook? You can't stay there. You don't got to go home, but you can't stay here. Here's McMullen. Howard, no speed at first. Rolling for inner. Wait a minute. Let's check the ground ball A's here. It's borderline. Rolling for inner back. They're going to pull the infield in for McMullen. Runners at the corners, nobody out. Peters from the stretch. It's a 2-5 lefty, and he walks him to load him up. And the Senators threatening in the fourth. Senators desperately trying to not get swept. Thank you, Carl, and welcome. Good explanation there of the carding policies of Strat-O-Matic. Okay, Mookie, that's fine. No, you can stay there, but you cannot come up on the gaming table. Lay down now. Lay down, settle. Settle down. Here's Hamlin. Mookie on my lap. Infield with double play depth as Peters delivers a 6'10 right-hander. It's a fly to center field X. That's the goal. Whoops, there he goes. Okay, you're out of here. That's the Gold Glover AG, 1E8. Here's the play. On A7, he makes a fine running catch and runners hold. Shallow fly ball. AG sprints in to make the grab. And the runners have to hold. One down. Base is still loaded, and here is Bob No Chance. And a D bunter to boot. Double play depth. Peters with a 4-6. Grounder to first base. B with the infield back. Can you believe that? Chance is going to drive in a run. And that's going to go as a 3-6 force. Savarin crosses the plate. McMullen erased. Howard to third. And give Bob Chance an RBI against a left-handed pitcher on that play. My, this could be a strange game at times. Here's Doug Camilli with 2 down. Peters. The pitch, 6-3. Base it up the middle. RBI single for Camilli. It's 2-0. Scoring is Howard. That's an open single. Chance can round, but he's very slow. He will not even think about that. He'll stop at second. Chance, he's just happy to be on base. 2-0 Washington. The batter, Eddie Brinkman. Hello, Bob. Hello, Dan Douglas. I said yesterday, I used that Titanic line. I was texting my sister after I did the medication for Mookie. I said, fleas are jumping off Mookie like Molly Brown off of the Titanic. Here's Brinkman, pitch from Peters. That's a 1-2 lefty, grounder down to first. Skowron will take it to the bag, and that will do it. But Washington scores twice on 3 hits and leaves a pair. And they take a 2-0 lead to the bottom of the 4th. This is tough now because I'm sure we're all rooting for Bosman. If you missed the start, this is his second start. Okay, his first start. He won the game. 5 1/3 innings, 5 hits and a run. He's pitched 3 scoreless today. But it is an ugly card, and Washington trying hard not to get swept here. So that makes it a tough decision when it comes to Bosman. 5 for endurance, of course. Holy cow, Bill. That should be a crime. Here's Buford, 0 for 1, batting lefty. Bosman with the windup. The pitch is the 2-8 right-handed. Grounder to second, playable for Hamlin. Scoops it up, throws it to Chance, 1 down. Here's Tommy McCraw now. The pitch from Dick Bosman. 2-6 righty. Grounder to short. Brinkman charging on the run. He is out. Two down, and here is Floyd Robinson. Struck out in the second. Bosman into the windup on a 2-9 righty. He bangs a base hit the other way into left field for a 2-out single. Star 18 stealer for Floyd. -2 batteries, 16. He's held on at 14. One thing we know about these White Sox, they love to run. He's going to try to roll to 6. Does not get it. And here's Bosman's pitch to Moose Scouring. 5-10 right-handed. That's catcher's card. That's Camille. Camille a 4-4. Here's the play on a 15. It will be a pass ball and a foul out to the catcher, and the side is retired. No runs, a hit, 1 left. 4 scoreless for Dick Bosman. Yeah, and when I started playing, you could buy the additional players and get 4 extra players a team, but I'm not even sure if that was true in 1962. What year was that, Bill? I'm guessing it was 62. Peters is at 8, Frank. He was a workhorse that year. Up 2-0, Bosman will hit. He's a 3 right-hander. Peters with a 3-5. He grounds it to third. Buford, 2 Scouring. 1 away, and here's Fred Valentine. Still down, huh? Down. Wow. That's unforgivable. Valentine hitting right-handed here. Peters into the windup. That's going to be a 6-4 righty. Grounder down to third. Buford again. Throws to Scouring. 2 quick outs here for Gary Peters. And here's Saverin. 1 for 2, batting righty. 1-5, bangs a base hit up the middle. 2 for 3 today for Bob Saverin. That'll get Big Frank Howard to the plate here in the 5th. Senators lead by 2. Howard 1 for 2. Peters from the stretch. Pitch to Frank is a 6-4 righty. Another grounder to third. Hard smash. Buford will go the short way to Weiss for the force. And on defense this inning, it's all Don Buford. No runs, a hit, 1 left. We're halfway home. It's 2-0 Senators. I would say, yeah, it almost had to be, right, Frank? 1.98 ERA. That card is in the ATG set, I can assure you. Oh, that's nice, Bill. Our own Sonoma Joel. Formerly Tahoe Joel. Which is totally weird, Dan, because when I first got the computer game in, 94, I want to say, they had a Mac version, and then after about 2 or 3 years, they quit making it. They've never made it since. Yeah, Dan, he took the player's name. Yes, he's a semi-regular here. Moved from Lake Tahoe, Lake Tahoe, is that in Nevada? That's still in California. To Sonoma. He lives in Sonoma now. I remember that because I love Sonoma. First inning potential fatigue for Bosman. He leads 2-0. Here's J.C. Martin, the catcher. Bosman into the windup. It's a 3-7. Flies it into right field. Playable for McMullen. He's there. McMullen made that somewhat of an adventure. McMullen not used to playing the outfield, but he makes the play. And here's Lee Elia, who doubled his first time up. Bosman comes in there with a 3-4 righty, hard smash to third. Savarin over to Chance, 2 down. And here's Al Weiss, the second baseman. Bosman delivers a 5-10 lefty. That's catcher's card. That is going to be Camille again, a 4-4. On a 17, it is a foul out to the catcher. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Bosman. So Dick Bosman does it again. 5 scoreless innings. Five innings in the books. It's 2-0 Washington. At this point, we have to play it basically a batter at a time for Bosman at this point. He is on a very short leash with that card. A different situation, I'd probably let him go. But with Washington trying to snap a 5-game skid, can't be fooling around with that today. Here's McMullen. He is 0 for 1 with a walk. Peters into the windup. 5-7 right-handed. That's going to be a base hit. Double to 2. And he almost got it. It's a single for McMullen. Just missed the double. Now, if Washington could get 2 or 3 runs here, that would buy a little more rope for Bosman. Here's Hamlin 0 for 2. And he squares to bunt. He's a B on a 3. I think he's going to beat that out. And he does. Oh my goodness. It's a bunt single for Hamlin. So Hamlin surprises everybody by laying down the bunt. Hell, he almost surprised me. And here comes here comes Bob Chance. Chance is going to square to bunt on a D. There's no other play here. A 10D, unfortunately, he bunts into the forced play. Hit it back to the pitcher, Peters, who fires down to third for the force. Normally we don't like to bunt with a D, but I mean, if you look at that card, what else are you going to do with first and second and nobody out? First and second and 1 out now. Here's Camille. Camille 1 for 2. Peters sets the sign. It's a 3-8 left-handed. That's a single to 5. Liner towards shortstop, and it's caught there by Elia. 2 down, and it'll be up to Eddie Brinkman. Brinkman 0 for 2. Peters studying the signs. Full windup on a 2-7. Grounder to short. Routine for Elia. Comes in on it. Fires to Skowron, and the side is retired. No runs, 2 hits. They leave a pair. Bottom of the 6th. The score remains the same. Now you have Bosman not only in his second endurance inning, but he's set to lead off the 7th. 1 batter at a time. I want to take a moment to catch up on the chat, see if anyone has any thoughts on Bosman. Oh, he's not fatigued, Frank. He's just not good, and the lead is only 2 runs. He showed no signs of fatiguing. He's only allowed 3 hits. Tough situation for Peters, too, but he's a pretty good hitting pitcher, so he's going to bat. It's a 4-8 lefty, and it's a leadoff single for Peters. He lines one into right field. That's not a good sign for Bosman. Peters roped that one. What do you think? We've got right, switch, left, left. We better get somebody up at the very least. They're going to get Cox up. Casey Cox throwing in the pen. That's kind of what I was thinking, Bill. Let him pitch to Agee. If he doesn't get Agee, that's it. Bosman out of the stretch. It's a 4-8 righty, and he rips an extra base hit to right field. It's going to be a double for Agee. Peters rounding. They're going to hold him at third. The tying runs in scoring position with nobody out, and here comes Hodges, and that's going to do it for Bosman. I believe this is what happened last time. That's how he gave up a run in 5 1/3. 5 scoreless, and then he runs out of gas. So I guess I should have known. Switch left, left. Don't we have a lefty we could bring in? They've got McCormick available, normally a starter. That's who it's going to be. They're going to bring in Mike McCormick in relief of Bosman. McCormick the lefty coming on. 4 and 5, 3.14. This is his 3rd relief appearance. He's made 11 starts. And you're right, we're going to need a double switch. Normally, I don't like to take the catchers out. I would be more likely to get Chance out of there because he's not helping them anyway. Don Locke will come on and hit ninth and play center field. This is going to be a series of moves here. (2E9 minus 2 with a 14). McMullen will go to first base. Pitcher will go in Chance's spot. McMullen a 4E10 at first. It does water it down a bit, Ben, but it's certainly better than having McCormick lead off the inning. Washington will pull the infield in here. Buford will turn around and bat right-handed. McCormick ready to work on a 5-6 righty. It's a grounder to first base B with the infield in. Fielded there by first baseman McMullen, who throws home and gets the out. Out at the plate is Peters. Didn't help any that Peters can't run. Big out for Washington. Runners at the corners now, one out, and here's McCraw. McCraw grounded to short both times. Wait, what? I hate switching the catcher just for the realism of it. Casanova caught the first game, and I'm sure the thinking was he was going to get a game of rest, except for a pinch hit appearance, which, interestingly, he did have in this game in real life. And there's Thomas with a 58 update. Hello, Thomas. Runners at the corners, one out. Now they're going to play it back. Double play depth. McCormick to McCraw. 4-2. Fly to center field. That's going to be deep enough to get a run in. Valentine makes the catch. Agee tags and scores, and it's a 2-1 game. RBI for McCraw. McCormick. That's a good point, Carl. I didn't even look at McCormick's hitting when I brought him in. I was just looking for a lefty. He actually pitched in relief in this game in real life, even though I wrote in everyone down here. That means, yes, everyone in the pen plus McCormick pitched. McCormick to Robinson. 1-7, fly to center, playable, Valentine, and they're going to get out of that cheaply enough. One run, 2 hits, a man left. We can close the book on Bosman. Very similar to his first start. No walks, 2 Ks. That's a nice line for a pitcher. I know, Bill. I'm guilty of that, I have to admit. But there is a method to my madness. Basically, I'm trying to provide entertainment. If I was doing it solo, for instance, there would have been no double switch. McCormick would just be pinch hit for now. Or I might have let Bosman go until he fatigued. That'd be even more likely. 2-1 as we go to the 7th inning. Don Locke will lead it off. Locke very pleased to be in the game. 231, 6 homers, 12 RBIs. Peters into the windup. 6-8 righty, swung on and missed, strike 3. Locke now not quite as pleased. Here's Fred Valentine, 1 for 3. Peters into the windup. It's a 5-4 righty. It's catcher's card. That's J.C. Martin. Martin is a 2E7. Good catcher. On a 5, it is a pop out to the catcher, 2 down. Here's Savarin now, 2 for 3 today. Peters into the windup. 4-9 right-handed. Grounder shortstop X. Tough chance for Elia. 3E40. Elia ranging up the middle. Here's the play on a 15. He's there. Nice play. Turns and throws him out. 6-3 X. 1-2-3 inning for Peters. And as we stretch, and it's a nail biter. Senators 2, White Sox 1. That is funny. I'm surprised they haven't changed that in modern day. Hell, in today's game, just going 5 innings is almost a quality start. Six innings is almost the most you can expect today, and 7 innings is like a complete game. Heck, it's almost to where 6 is like a complete game. Okay, you know what time it is. Where is the old flea bag? There he is. I have the slider open today, so he wants to get out there, but since he's going to go to my sister's on Saturday, I would prefer to deliver him in a flea-free condition. Mookie! What you doing, buddy? Mookie! Now he's hiding. He wants to, that's the screen there. He wants to get out there. Probably a bird out there. Okay, I'm going to touch up my coffee. And we'll continue this fine game. I have to admit, after that first fine start by Bosman, I really expected him to just blow up in this game. Does he mind the loud music? Well, honestly, I don't play my music that loud anymore. Oh, you mean in the car, don't you? From the last time he went on a road trip with me. Yeah, he's not going with me this time. He's going to stay with my sister. I'm flying. And the place I'm going to, no pets allowed. So he's going to have to stay with my sister this time. This is going to be solitude on the bay for me, and I need it. You know, Bill, I haven't checked Guterman in a while. Frank did mean the car. Yeah, I played it pretty loud at times in the car. He didn't mind it. Sometimes he'd just go back in the trunk. I have a sedan, you know, where the back seats flip down, so I had one seat down at all times. I had his litter box, his food and his water, some toys. All his stuff was in the trunk, so he could come and go out of the trunk as he pleased. Okay, McCormick will start the inning. Cox appears to be ready. And now Ron Klein takes off the jacket. He hasn't started throwing yet, but he's stretching. I'm curious myself, can anyone answer Bill's question? McCormick did a good job in the 6th. Let's see how he fares in the 7th. 2-1 Senators. Bill Skowron to lead things off. McCormick gets the sign from Keneally. The pitch is a 1-5 lefty, and he bangs that into left field for a leadoff single. Skowron very slow. And here's the catcher, J.C. Martin. McCormick out of the stretch. 6-9 righty, grounder to short. Brinkman goes to Hamlin for 1 to Chance, not in time. That'll be a force. So J.C. Martin, the catcher, and yet noticeably quicker than Skowron. And here's the shortstop, Lee Elia. I will do that, Thomas. I can't promise she'll do it, but I'm going to bring that up. Her husband has a YouTube channel. He just started it recently. And he videos himself skiing. And it's called, because my guess is if anybody's going to do it, he might. So let's take a look at that. I can't remember it. It's something like Fat Old Men Doing Crazy Stuff, or he's got a weird name for his channel. It has something to do with fat old men. I'm trying to find it now, so you guys can jot this down. God, I subscribe to a lot of channels. I bet everybody does, though, right? That's not unusual. My goodness. Oh, his son is in a band called Leftover Soul. They have a channel. It's a good band. He plays trombone. Where in the world? I can't believe. Well, I just checked them all. I must have gone past it. That's what I get for trying to go too fast. Haste makes way, Steve. That's what they say. Old Fat Man videos. Okay, that's my brother-in-law, Bob, at Bob's, B-A-W-B-S, 1969. And he only has 5 subscribers, so jump on there anyway and give him a subscribe. Make him feel good. Anyway, I would suspect if anybody puts Mookie on YouTube, it's going to be Bob. All right, back to the game. Runner at first, 1 out. Here's Elia. McCormick out of the stretch. 4-3 righty. It's a grounded to third X. That could be 2. Savarin a 4-18. Here is the play on an 11. E-range, a 9 on a 14. And would you look at that? Savarin gloves it, throws to Hamlin for 1. Nice turn to first, double play. No runs to hit, nobody left. We're through 7, and the Senators hanging on to a 2-1 lead. For Gary Peters, his first inning of potential fatigue here in the 8th. I'm going to refresh the chat. They also have a dog and a cat, a very old cat who, understandably, in his declining years, is very cranky. He wants nothing to do with Mookie. But the dog, a wonderful, beautiful Australian Shepherd, does engage with Mookie. Okay, to the 8th we go. Peters facing Frank Howard. Big Frank 1 for 3 on the day. Here is the windup on the pitch. It's going to be a 3-7 lefty. Tapper to short. Elia to Skowron, 1 down. I made a mess out of that. Well, that's what whiteout is for. Here's Ken McMullen now playing first base. Peters gets the side. 5-10 righty, grounder third base X. Tough chance for Buford. 3-32. Here's the play. On a 20. Buford, a nice play, throws him out. Coincidence or not, the White Sox resurgence began right about the time they moved Don Buford from second to third. 2 down, and here's Hamlin. There will be a game tomorrow, you betcha. Peters to Hamlin. Here it's the pitch on a 6-9. Swung on and missed, strike 3. That'll be the end of the day for Peters, as he's due to bat second in the bottom of the inning. Let's check the defense now for Washington. We've already done some things. I'd like to get Valentine out of center. Wait, he is out of center. McMullen moved from right to first. I forgot to mention, Valentine moved to right. Fortunately, that did not come up. We're going to take Howard out. Willie Kirkland will take over in left field. So you got Savern at third, McMullen at first. Hamlin's already at second. That's about as good as it's going to get. I think you're absolutely right, Frank. Oh, Thomas, yeah, I tell you what, it's no fun. I hope it goes well for you. Weiss, pitcher, AG. Okay, that's it for McCormick. Washington trying to nail this one down. They're going to go to Ron Klein. McCormick, a good 2 innings, though. Klein, the right-hander, 3-0 with 8 of the team's 12 saves. 2.05 on the year. Facing Weiss, a pinch hitter, and AG. Klein facing Weiss into the windup. Weiss batting lefty on a 3-5. Struck him out. Called strike 3. Now we will have a batter for Peters. And that's going to be Smokey Burgess. I'm a little worried about Mookie. You know, he's never been away from me since he was 8 weeks old, and I got him for the first time. But I think having the other animals there, and he's spent time in that house many times, I think he'll be fine. I think I might miss him more than he'll miss me. Here's Burgess, the catcher, really no longer a viable catcher option. You'd have to say he's more of a pinch hitter at this stage of his career. He is 1 for 9 on the season. Klein gets the side. The pitch is a 4-7, swung on and missed, strike 3. So Klein comes on and announces his presence with authority, fanning Weiss and Burgess. And now with 2 down, the batter is Tommy Agee. Agee 1 for 3 on the day, doubled and scored the White Sox only run. Klein into the windup. 1-11, and that ball is drilled to deep left field. Backing up is a Kirkland on the track, on the wall. It's gone. Tommy Agee has just tied it up with a home run. 111-16. Tommy Agee with his 4th home run of the season. I've been talking endlessly about how far behind the pace Agee was. Rookie of the year with 22 homers. You might remember he went a long time at the start of the year before hitting his first. That's his 4th, and it ties the game. Surrounded by his teammates as he crosses the plate. And they look like they could not be happier for the kid. You kind of had a feeling, didn't you, that the White Sox were going to strike at some point. Here's Buford. 0 for 3 today, Klein. On a 4-3 lefty, it's a flight to right field X. That is going to be Valentine now. A 3E8, Valentine ranging towards the gap on a 12, a 9 on an E8. He makes a fine running catch for the out. But on a Tommy Agee home run, the White Sox tie it up here in the bottom of the 8th. Thank you, Thomas. You sound just like me a couple of weeks ago. 3 trips to Best Buy. Oh, and while you're at it, let me save you with the 3rd trip. If you need to plug the phone into a USB, you're going to need another cord for that too. You're going to need a USB-C into a regular USB. So if you need to charge it in the car or plug it into your computer, you're going to need that. Okay, new pitcher for Chicago. It's going to be Locker. Peters works 8, 4, 5, 6, 7 hits. 2 runs, walked only 1, and struck out 3, 5. Interestingly, Ben, the guy at Best Buy told me this. The reason they use USB-C now, the small one, is because they all use the small one now. Apple got busted in Europe for making things different, and they forced them to make it all standard. So it is all standard now. But if you're using the old plugins, it still doesn't help you. Okay, 9th inning in a tie game. Extra innings on a Thursday? No, not possible. And Washington, they're going to have to hit for Klein, aren't they? Yes, they are. Craw, Robinson, Scourin. Cox has been warming. We're going to go with Cox. Batting against Locker will be Jim King. King, of course, homered in the opener. He has 9 home runs now. Sorry, Bill. Okay, here's King. Locker ready to go to work. Pitch to King on a 6-6 lefty. He lifts one to center. Agee is there to make the play. Here's the catcher, Camille. 1 for 3 today. The pitch from Locker is a 6-5 righty. Grounded to short X. That's Elia. 3E40. Elia into the hole. That's going to be on an 8 error range. 7 on an E40. This smells like trouble, and it is. That's going to be an error on Elia, and Camille will reach. First error of the game. They really have to try to run for Camille, don't they? It looks like Casanova's going to catch after all, as they're emptying the bench here. Blasingame will come in and run for Camille. The batter, Eddie Brinkman. Blasingame, no threat to run. -1 battery. Brinkman 0 for 3 today. Locker set. It's a 5-12 lefty. Grounded to third X. Tough chance for Buford. 3E32. Here's the play. On a 2. He's not going to get it. That's a 2-star single. Going to third is Blasingame. And the White Sox having a defensive meltdown here in the top of the 9th. That'll bring up Don Locke now in the 9 spot. Runners at the corners, 1 down. Infield will be in. Let's check Brinkman's running. He's a star 15, -114. They have to pull the infield in so they can't hold him. He could go at 14. Locke, however, strikes out so much he rarely hits into double plays, so he's going to stay put, and Locke will swing away. Locker to Locke. 4-2 righty. It's a fly to left, but it's shallow. On comes McCraw, and runners will have to hold. So it'll be up to Fred Valentine. 2 down, runners at the corners, and a tie game in the top of the 9th. Valentine will turn around and bat left-handed. Locker gets his side. The pitch to Valentine on a 1-7. Fly to center field. Agee backing up a bit. He's got it. And the Senators strand a pair. No runs, a hit, 2 left. There was an error. Taking over at catcher will be Casanova. That leaves only Dick Nan on the Washington bench without getting into possible computer-only cards. And here comes Cox, the 4th Washington pitcher of the afternoon. Hang on a second. So he would go in there. Could switching with Casanova, but to get 1 spot, it's not worth the effort. Bottom of the 9th, 2-2. It's McCraw, Robinson, and Skowron. Cox on the year, 2-4 with a 3.38. I remember my dad used to hand me a bag of tubes and walk down to the local store and use the free tube testing machine. Remember those? I was just a kid, but the first time I did it, I came back with, I put them all back in the same bag, and I came home and said, yeah, 2 of them were bad. And my dad goes, well, which 2? So I had to go back and do it again. Yeah, I learned. Okay, I'm going to back this out a little bit so we can see the cards. There we go. Cox ready to work. McCraw 0 for 2 today. Cox with the windup. The pitch on a 1-9 righty. It's a high fly ball to deep right field. Going back is Valentine at the track, at the wall, off the wall for a double. Oh my, that was exciting. 1-9. Homer to 12. He rolled to 19, but the winning run is at second base. McCraw with good speed out there. And here's Floyd Robinson, Moose Skowron to follow. Robinson swinging away. Cox delivers a 3-8 righty. Grounder to first base. Chance is only, sorry, not Chance. McMullen's only play is to go to the bag, and the runner moves to third. Infield in for Skowron. 1 out, winning run 90 feet away. Crowd on its feet. Out to the mound goes the catcher, Casanova. They could put him on and set up a double play. J.C. Martin. That's what they're going to do. They're going to walk Skowron. So the Senators, trying to snap a 5-game losing streak, they're praying for a miracle here. They're going to play it back and try to get a ground ball out of Martin. Martin tends to hit the ball on the ground quite a bit. Cox with the pitch. It's a 5-5 left-hander. Grounder to first base B. That is going to be McMullen. Down to Brinkman to first. Not in time, and the ball game is over. So McCraw scores on a ground ball B. And the White Sox, they did it. Crowd goes crazy here in Chicago as the White Sox have swept the Senators in a 4-game series. And all I can think of is poor Dick Bosman. Well, don't worry. Bosman would have better days ahead. I remember that magnificent 69 card in the first Strat-O-Matic set I ever bought. I know, Bill, I gambled. Fire the manager. The thinking there, you have a good shortstop, a decent second baseman, and you've got Martin with 3, 8, 13, 17, 18, 20 ground ball A's on his card. A strategy, I must say, I've used competitively myself many, many times. And a lot of times it has worked. When it doesn't work, it's a drag. And Agee with the homer double and the defense, yeah, I would agree. So Bob Locker ends up the winning pitcher. He is 2-3 now. Casey Cox takes the loss. He is 2-5. Yeah, all the supermarkets had them then, as far as I can remember. The tube testers. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Frank. White Sox, 3 runs, 8 hits, 1 error. Senators, 2 runs, 8 hits, no errors. Player of the game is Tommy Agee. And the White Sox are hot, 21-26 now. Washington drops to 23-27. Tomorrow we have the first game of a doubleheader. Unfortunately, it'll be a while until the second game. Anyway, it's the Cubs at the Reds. As we jump over to the NL, Bill Hands on the mound for the Cubs, Jim Maloney for the Reds. Usual time, 1:30 Pacific, 4:30 Eastern. Thank you everybody for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please do. That was a weird ending, Franklin, I'll give you that. I really felt that Washington had to gamble there and get the only way out of that was to get the double play. And I say that because it seems the White Sox have pretty much gotten whatever they needed lately. Could that move be questioned? Absolutely. So fire away in the comments. You know, I'm all for it. That's interesting, Carl. Yeah, that sounds about right to me. That's interesting. Batman, fall of 66. Alfred was the best, wasn't he? I'm going to get out of here and grab some lunch. Please join me tomorrow. In the meantime, take care. Enjoy the rest of your day and have a fantastic evening, everybody. So long for now.